It is now noon. Hello, everyone. Hi.
What
I'm
do we
super
got?
excited to see everyone and see how everyone's week is going, what you've been up to, see if there's any questions, all of that good stuff. We have had a lot of mutuals lately, which is really exciting. I do really want to encourage everyone to either rewatch the Brokerment, or I'm going to do another class on just Brokerment and Northwest MLS forms, as well as transaction desk, because
Hmm.
there's just a lot of pieces that I keep seeing that are missing in the contracts. So I really want to go over that um, in a class with everyone. But I want to
Absolutely.
remind everyone, when it comes to Brokerment, when you log a new transaction, if you are logging a listing, that is the only time you log it as a listing, if you are the listing broker. Otherwise, it's a pending transaction, because if you're putting it in Brokerment, you should be mutual. So that's what pending means. So when you're starting that Brokerment file, which is what we need to have for any time the state comes to audit us. So that has
Hmm.
to be correct. It needs to have all the forms. It needs to be uploaded under the correct forms. If you guys don't know how to separate like your Authentisign into PDFs, I will cover that in the class, but really it's just print to a PDF. You can do it as simply as that from really anywhere, your laptop, your desktop, anywhere. You can even get a scanner for your phone so that you know which is which. So I really want you guys to get clear on how to use Brokerment as well as Transaction Desk, because like I learned something from a broker. Zainab wrote her very first offer. And so we're still waiting to hear if it got accepted. So for those of you who know that I'm in Lake Tahoe, if you thought that I wasn't working, you're completely not correct. I have been answering phone calls, wrote a offer, helped Zainab, corrected a couple things in Transaction Desk, got the offer, sent out Authentisign via Zoom. It's great. I'm really excited for people who are taking the coaching and are really going ahead and elevating their business to the next level. She's got like now, I think, 4 or 5 buyers she's working with, and she wrote her first offer. So I still haven't heard whether or not it got accepted, but I'm really excited because I'm able to coach her and really give her clients and her the best chance at getting mutual. So definitely want to make sure that you guys are taking advantage of that. And speaking of taking advantage of things, I really, really, really want to see that you guys are signing up for the free trial of KV Core. Our training is going to be, I believe it's next Monday. I'm still working that out
Is it
with
next Monday,
KV
Lori?
Core.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
Is it next Monday? All right.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Because I was going to do a training uh, either Saturday or Sunday for the people
Hmm.
that aren't able to be on during Monday, and just do a basic here's their entry into KV Core. And to get, there's really no reason why anyone shouldn't sign up for this. I really feel like if you're working with any number of clients, whether it
Just not
be
using it. They're just not using it, I guess.
the what?
They're just not using it. And
Yeah. And that's, I
you
really
know,
want you guys to try it, because if you try it, I think you will use it. I think that you're going to see the value that this software can produce for you. I also think that the fact that I'm going in now and setting up some of the basic things so that when you input a lead or you have a lead transferred over, I just transferred, I think it was right around 400 and something contacts into KV Core so that I could learn how to do it. I have additional contacts that I'm going to be moving in when I'm teaching a class, showing everyone how to do that, because I think it's important so you can learn, oh, look, I don't have to sit there and type out each lead or each person or
hmm.
each past client into the system. You can actually just do a mass transfer, and KV Core will actually do it for you. You don't have to do it yourself. You just send them the information. So those are all things that I want to cover. And it's going to help you guys stay in touch with your clients. Even if you just put in your past clients and you set up a follow-up program to send out, here's a monthly update on what's going on in the market. One of the things that's the most disheartening thing that happens is when your past client lists their house with someone else because you
Yeah, that
haven't kept up
sucks.
with them.
That
So I
sucks.
want you guys to really start figuring out, okay, what are the tools that I can use that are going to get me in front of my clients or potential clients or past clients, continue to stay in touch, make sure that you are not only reaching out via email, but also one of the things that I really want to talk more to you guys about is using Virtue Desk. It's a huge benefit to have the opportunity to have that because there isn't another brokerage around that has what we have. So I would love to see you guys actually taking advantage of that and using your KV Core along with other things so that you can find out what's going on with your clients, how to keep in front of them, how to stay in touch so that you are the person as soon as
Yeah.
they say, gosh, I really am considering selling or buying a house. Great. You're the first person that pops into their head. It's not just social media. Having somebody do a live call, even if it's to talk about a listing. Let's say you have a listing that's coming up. Just being able to have a virtual assistant call and say, oh, there's a new listing coming on board. There's this coming on board. All of those things that will help you be the top of mind for your clients. You do not want to be the person who looks, 5 years later, looks back and all of your clients are listing or buying through other brokers because you haven't stayed in touch with them. And that is really the CRM. I hope that people start to see the value of the CRM because your clients don't realize it's not you contacting them. And you can set it up to do the text messages, the emails, those touches without ever doing anything. You don't have to touch anything. You just set it up. You set it as either a closed deal. There's a follow-up program that's already set up for you by me. So you're just going to use a drop down and select what type of lead or what type of program you want to have these people on. So that is really what I want you guys to really start looking at is the value that you're missing out on. And literally try this for the 15 days. There's no cost to do the trial. And my thought is, even if you see one thing or learn one thing that you should be doing or could be doing, it's worth it. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of resources. It's not a waste of anything for you to go ahead and learn what this CRM is about. Why do we even want you guys to have the opportunity to have access to a CRM? Because there's a reason. It's not like, let's just figure out a way to spend money. That's not it. There's a lot of value in a CRM. That's why there's so many on the market. It's not like there's just one CRM that's out there. There's a ton of them. So I've done one training with KV Core, and I feel like I've gotten a lot from that small training, but I'm going to have them do a training with as many brokers as we can bring on. And so that's why I'm trying to really push. This is the last day for you guys to sign up for the free trial. And I really want to have as many people sign up as possible. It doesn't make sense for us to have a CRM if nobody's using it because, quite frankly, the brokerage is absorbing a large amount of the cost of this for you guys. When I was a brokerage owner and I used Sync, I will tell you guys that I was spending anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000 a month on that bill.
Oh yeah,
So
easy.
I
Yep.
really want you guys to understand, spending 50 or 75 or $100 a month, that's a huge savings benefit for you. When I was a single broker and I had a team and I was using FirePoint, that I think was about $895 a month, right in that range. and I don't remember the exact amount because I was also paying Zillow and Google and all these other lead sources. So that's just really something I want you guys to think about, is the savings that we are offering. And right now we're saying, hey, just try it for free and see if you like it. See if you can see the benefit, because I have seen the benefit and I've utilized CRMs for a long time. So I would really like you guys to try it out, try it on, and find the benefit.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah. I know that there's been a lot of calls, and I could go over kind of some things that maybe other people might have questions on that I've been getting calls on, but I wanted to give the people who are on the live Zoom, rather than waiting to watch the replay, a chance to ask any questions, have any concerns, any of that addressed, since you guys are live on here.
I have one.
Hi, go
I
ahead.
have one. So, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have a question on the appraisal. House that I sold in Duval, we went into mutual about 3 weeks ago. Now it's a pain in the butt with appraisal. I can't get, it's taken like 3 or 4 weeks to get the appraiser. They already ordered the appraiser, but he's not responding. He's not, showing up. My sellers are freaking out, which is, I understand it's the first sell. And the house is going to appraise, but they're calling me like 4.
That's how we do our
freaking
meetings.
out that, it's going to be a problem with. Is that normal, because it's Duval, is that normal for this county to have the appraiser come up late?
So the appraisal is ordered by the lender, and the lenders use different appraisal management companies depending on who the lender is. And the thing about that is I really miss the days where we could call appraisers directly and just say, hey, is this going to appraise? Can you get out there and appraise it? It was so nice. But that was taken away because unfortunately there were some people who were abusing the system. Now, given all that, I would call the lender, who is the person that's in charge of the appraisal, and really put some pressure on them. Say, my sellers are having a problem with this.
Right, I did. So yesterday we had a whole situation. I did. And, so they said, yeah. And so they gave me the appraiser's number, so I've been calling that appraiser, texting him. Then we created a group chat with the lender. This is getting ridiculous. And appraiser is just like not following up. So I hope it's going to happen because, it will happen. It's just the timing. We're not closing until the 27th of August. I understand we still have time, but it would be kind of nice to get it out of the way.
It would be nice to get it out of the way, but you still have enough time where if this appraiser is still stalling the transaction, you're going to have plenty of time to go ahead and get a different appraiser if you need to and still close on time. Now, unfortunately, given that we have to use appraisal management companies now, it is what it is.
Okay.
And it's frustrating because I'm sure the lender is frustrated too. But they haven't even called to make an appointment yet.
No, because someone called me, gave me appraiser's number, appraiser's email. I called him, I texted him, I sent him an email. He's not saying anything. And which I understand, appraisers are busy because market is going. But can you give me maybe some pointers what to say to my sellers? Because they're like all freaking out.
You let them know that you are on top of it. And you let them know that you have contacted the appraiser directly to find out when they're going to be there. If you don't get a response by, I would put like a drop dead date of Monday to hear back from that appraiser, because you want to be reasonable, but you also want to make sure you're still able to close on time.
Exactly.
So what I would look at is, okay, look, either you get back to me by Monday or call the lender and say, hey, this appraiser's not getting back to us, and we're not going to want to extend because you are not doing your follow-up, because that's not your, I hate to say this because I hate this saying of it's not my job. Like I can't stand
but you're right,
but
though.
I'm going to say it's not your job to be following up with the appraiser. That's the lender's job.
Exactly.
The lender is the one who needs to be emailing and calling and then giving you updates, because that's definitely
not. All right, well, I'll just be on top of it and then just pushing. So thank you, Lori.
Yeah, of course. And you've been doing great. For those of you that don't know, this is her first listing, and she has been rocking it. She got it, all the listing stuff prepped. She walked through, did like a pre-stage, then she did the great photos. You used a transaction coordinator to make sure all of the documents were right. I mean, you've been doing great on that. So I'm really proud of the way that you've handled this and all the negotiations. Anytime you had a question, you always asked. We got a quick response, and now it's in contract under mutual. So awesome job.
Thank you, Lori.
Of course. So does anybody else have any questions that they wanted to have answered who was live on the call?
Do you have any buyers who are looking for a house in Bellingham?
In Bellingham?
Yes.
You know, I have an investor I used to work with that owned a lot of investment properties in Bellingham, but the one that I think you have listed up there probably is not the best for a rental property. It doesn't look like a great investment. Definitely looks more like a single family that someone would purchase to live in on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So that I don't necessarily have a buyer for Bellingham, but I'm happy to share it because I do have some friends that do live up in that area. So I'm happy to share it on social media.
Sure. It works better than Zillow sometimes.
Awesome. So one of the things that I will be teaching for the KV Core training is how to share from your KV Core page. So the way that I have it set up is you can look at one property, but when you click to look at the second property, you're required to put in your email address because people are more likely to put it in if they get to see one first before they're asked to put it in. And that's how you can generate leads from social media because you send them to your own personal search page. So I will be sharing that link on my social media. Probably I'll do the Bellingham listing. Tomorrow's Thursday, so probably tomorrow. Get that up.
Okay.
Get those buyers who are going to be looking over the weekend taking a look. Any other listings or buyer needs that you guys have? I have a listing that's coming up in Tacoma. It's like Tacoma, Puyallup area. It's on a half acre. It has a garage where the back door for the garage and the front door are both garage doors. I'll get a lot more updates on that. The contractor's still finishing up because it was going to be his primary residence. His wife ended up with dementia, so they turned it basically from a remodel for their own home into a flip. But they've owned it for 20 years, so yeah, just for anyone looking. Any other stuff coming up for anybody?
I'm looking for 2 houses up to $1.1 million in Redmond, Bellevue, Kirkland. Please let me know if you know about any upcoming listings, homes or townhomes.
Well, would they go out to Falls City?
No.
You said 1.1. I have the house, but you know, like it's the guy. It's kind of off market. You know, I'm gonna be listing it. You know, for him, but we just can't decide. But he can sell off market now. Would you be interested in? You know.
Can you send me a couple of pictures?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Can you send me your email? Are we connected anywhere? I don't think we're connected.
I don't know. What's your name?
Yeah, Vlada. Right.
Vlada.
Yeah, right. My name is right there on the screen. Because yeah, that one is definitely, and it's amazing location in Bellevue. So, and it's 1.1. So let me know. I mean, the guy is really interested and he wants it to move.
Vlada Harrison?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I just send you my email on Facebook.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yay, I love to see you guys chatting like that and sharing info. That makes me so happy. It makes me miss the days of in person, but I think it's going to be really cool when we do a hybrid version of in-person sales meeting plus. So we'll have some people in the office and it'll be broadcast via Zoom as well. I'm really excited for that. Definitely excited. So that's the collaboration that I love to see. I love the culture of sharing and really just giving each other kind of a heads up of what's going on in different areas with buying, listing, all of that. It makes a huge difference because I know there's areas right now where people are in a multi-offer situation. I've had a bunch of calls over the weekend about people being in multi-offer situations and how can they get their offer to be looked at. So one of the things that I really want to talk about today, because I've had a lot of calls about this over the weekend and in general, is when you have a multi-offer situation and it says we will not accept offers until X date, you can give your offer earlier because a lot of times it says they can accept earlier. So if you come in over list, no inspection, you know, with basically the only contingency is financing, a lot of times you can get your offer accepted before the offer review date. So you don't necessarily have to be there competing with all those other offers. You know, can we compete in those situations? Absolutely. You always want to make sure you have a pre-approval for your buyer. You want to make sure that there is not any question about whether or not your client is going to close on that home. So you want to put, you know, you always want to advise your client to get in an inspection, but if they can do a pre-inspection or if they feel comfortable waiving the inspection, that is going to make their offer much more likely to be looked at and accepted by the seller. So those are the things that you really want to make sure you are doing. Also, if you have a client who is in a situation where they do not have the cash to put down for down payment or for closing costs, that's going to be a tougher sell for the listing broker. So they need to figure out the max amount that that house or condo or whatever type of property is would appraise for, and you need to offer max amount. You need to also be able to justify to the listing broker the comps that you use to get to that, to assure them that you're going to be able to close on that, because they don't want to be in a situation where, yes, they accepted this offer that's $5,000 or $10,000 over list price, but then their clients end up losing money because it comes back that the appraisal's low. So those are all things that you want to take into account when you're going into a multi-offer situation. And the last most important thing is talk to the listing broker. Call them, text them, try and get some type of relationship going with the listing broker, because I've had my offers picked time and time again because this broker knows I'm calling them, I'm staying in communication. When brokers, when you're out showing, always give feedback. Don't be a broker that's like a silent broker that doesn't respond to other brokers. When you're in constant communication, whether it be just to let them know, hey, my client's not interested, or to say, hey, my client might be writing an offer, they are going to be much more likely to work with someone who is having constant communication. If they say might accept offers before our review date, call them and say, hey, if I write this for this amount, do you think it's worth writing? Do you think that there's a chance that I'm going to get this accepted? Because 9 times out of 10, it is about the listing broker, not just the sellers. So just make sure that you are doing everything you can for your client, and you're going to have a better shot at getting those accepted in these situations. Also, when you're writing the offer, I'm really trying to figure out how to change the different screens in the MLS and to get all of the different things that I want for different settings for you guys, because I want to have a residential condo drop down. I want to have residential, classic residential purchase. Then vacant lot. Commercial, I've had a lot of people call me on commercial, and there is separate forms that you use for commercial. It's not a Form 21. You don't use really any of the forms that are for a residential when you're purchasing a commercial property. Use the commercial forms. So those are all, you know, questions that I want to get the answers out there ahead of the questions that are being asked, because there's definitely a lot of similar questions that get asked over and over. And so I really want to make sure that the trainings that we're doing are answering the questions for the brokers that are the current questions. Does anyone have any questions about multi-offers or what we can do to make our offers better?
Yeah,
I know
you
we
can share
talked
some
with
tips.
brokers over at Directors about making earnest money non-refundable and what a difference that can make as well. So there's a lot of different tricks and tools that you can use to help your client's offer look better. All right, does anybody else have any questions for me of things that are going on? Questions about contracts, offers, anything? Well, today is going to be a shorter meeting than I had anticipated. So, you know, that's.
Yeah, looks like only 3 people showed up. So
I know it's a little weird. It's a
nobody.
small meeting.
I mean, I don't know. Some are out, or nobody's really concerned about their business. Looks like. So next time, if they call to ask a question, that's where I'm gonna reiterate to them that the Wednesday meetings are specifically for that. So yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things that I do understand that, you know, it's middle of the day, but guys, you can hop on your phones. Zoom on phone is easy. Like I have the Zoom app on my phone. I did a Zoom call this morning from my phone. So really, it's just a matter of logging on so you can get your questions answered, and it's not just, you know, a question that would be asked by just you, because a lot of times I'm answering the same questions, like about the 22 FM, the force majeure, the addendum that's on the MLS. It's basically there for COVID type things. And yes, you absolutely can include that on all your offers because it does protect them. Now, in a multi-offer situation, that's not always the greatest thing to put in because, you know, the seller may not be interested in that. But that question being asked on a call, if everyone's on there, that's going to answer a question for multiple people. It's not just going to be about answering that person's questions, because a lot of times people are going to have the same questions, and it's nice to be able to get in front of it and answer it for the broker that has the question, but also for the brokers that didn't even know that that was going to be a question that they were going to come up with. It's all about sharing and creating an environment where we can have more information.
Lori, I got a quick question. So I'm doing. I shared some stuff on social media, right? So one of the pictures has like the difference, right, and like interest rate and stuff. Like what are we allowed to advertise, and what are we not allowed to advertise?
I would never advertise interest rates. You can say I had a lender that locked, you know, under 3%, and that is all I would say. I would never put, because here's the thing, there's a whole gamut of things that need to be put on there. If you're advertising an exact interest rate, you know, there needs to be APR disclosed. You need to put fair housing lending. You need to have equal opportunity. I mean, there's just so much stuff that needs to be on there. RESPA, like you're just opening a can of worms. So why would you, you know, you could put an estimate and say, here, this would be a payment on this property with this percentage down and this. But other than that, I wouldn't advertise interest rates because we don't sell mortgages.
Right, and it's not an advertisement of.
I did not hear that last part. What was that?
I actually sent you this picture, right? And so down below, this is generated by Freddie Mac. I'm not sure if you received my text with that picture.
Okay, hold on. I could not hear you, and I don't know if it was the boat driving by or what. What was that?
This so it's not advertising of interest. Can you hear me?
Yep, there we go.
Okay, here we go. So I sent you this picture actually. So it shows like a difference in monthly payments, right? It's not an interest rate advertising.
Okay, try it one more time.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you perfectly now. Awesome.
Jeez, okay. So what I was saying is it is not an interest rate advertisement, right? It just shows like the difference, like what a payment will be, you know, over time. So that's, but down below it has, you know, it says that, hey, this is generated by Freddie Mac, principal and interest and payments might differ. So.
Okay, so what was the purpose of advertising the payment?
It shows the difference between interest rates and how much you will save over time, pretty much.
Okay, so are you trying to refi them or what? I mean, I guess I'm confused. Are you trying to say you can buy more now?
Buy more, that's correct, yes.
Okay, so what I would do, you have a lender you work with, correct?
Right.
Okay, so have your lender put together like a compliant, basically slide for social media to say here, you know, if you had purchased in, you know, 1990 at 9% or whatever it is, right, versus now what you can buy, right? That's what I would do if you're trying to get them to see that they could upgrade and use the equity in their home to use it as a down payment and purchase a larger property or to get what you want. To basically say, rather than refinance, purchase, right? But you want to make that really clear when you're advertising that, because if you're putting it out on social media and you're just talking about the different interest rates, the problem with that is you're advertising basically for a refinance or to save money rather than for them to purchase. So you really want to make sure that whatever you are putting out there, it's really clear why you're putting it out there, what the purpose is, right? Because you don't want to be lead generating necessarily for refis unless you have a lender that's just, you know, giving you so many purchase deals, you are too busy to take another purchase. And in that case, I'm going to coach you to start a team so that you can handle more purchases, because, you know, generating for something that's not income producing doesn't really make a lot of sense.
All right, thank you.
Of course. Pavel, do you agree with me on that?
Yes, I totally agree. That's a good point. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Does anybody else have anything that they had questions on? That's a great question that I think a lot of people probably have questions about what to put on social media and what is compliant, what is non-compliant. That, you know, it's important definitely to get that information. So again, I think it would be great if there were more people on here to share it. I know that there will be more people watching the recording, but again, I really want to stress to people, the more that you can get online and have the interaction with other people, that makes a big difference in the sales meeting, because it definitely allows more opinions, more questions, and different things that wouldn't come up otherwise to be brought up. All right, does anybody else have anything else? Any questions, concerns?
I guess that's it. Let's wrap it up.
All right, Pavel, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
You too, dear. You too.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Ciao.